She then tells me something that I wasn't expecting to hear, but she then tells me that the guy's married and he has kids. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Shireen. So we have made it to part 2 of my crazy ex-best friend. If you haven't watched part 1, I highly suggest you go back and you watch part 1 because you need it for part 2. Everybody else that's already watched part 1, go grab your snacks and let's get into it. So I told you guys about how she contacted me and she wanted to meet up with us because she was now in Florida because she was previously in Jersey and she was down here to visit. So I'm gonna start from the night where we actually met up. So the original plan was for me and my boyfriend to meet up with her somewhere after we got off of work. I worked half of my shift already, right? And then it was 9:02 exactly because I wrote down the time and I'm also gonna show you the receipts. It was 9:02 when I received a text from this girl saying, hey, would it be better if I just meet you guys at Papa John's? So I showed my boyfriend this text and me and him start to have questions about why she wants to meet up with us so bad. You move away, you come back and you wanna see us. And we weren't even that close at the time. So we came to the conclusion that she wanted something from us, but we just didn't know what. And that was the scary part of everything. So I never texted her back. Me and him literally spent the entire rest of our shift trying to figure out if we were gonna meet up with this girl or not. And it was literally like, I don't think we should, I think we should, I don't think we should. We already made plans. We were just going back and forth like that all the way until we got off of work. I'm like 100% sure it was a Friday night, right? So with that being said, I usually wouldn't get off until about 12 o'clock, 12:30, sometimes 1 if it was really busy. And usually on Fridays, it would be extremely busy because people like to order on Friday. On this one Friday night, it was busy. And then at 10 o'clock, it just slowed down. There was no deliveries coming through, no orders, no nothing. We were just in the store doing nothing on our phones, chilling out because there was nothing for us to do. So one of the managers, it wasn't the night manager that she was talking to, but actually it was the night manager that she was previously talking to. Let me say previously. So he came up to me and my boyfriend and he was like, hey, it's really slow right now. You guys are next up to go home. Do you just want to go home? And we were like, yeah, why not? So at this point, we were leaning more towards not meeting her, but we were still indecisive because we felt bad about it. We didn't want to just like flake on the girl, but at the same time we did. So after we clocked out and everything, we drove over to the gas station that's right next to our job and we sat in the parking lot. We just didn't know what to do. All of a sudden, we get a text from the girl, from Slim. We get a text from Slim and she says, hey, I'm at Papa John's. They said that you guys already left. Are we still meeting up tonight? So this is where the crazy kicks in for me. Me and my boyfriend are like high key, low key freaking out. We're like, is this girl really here right now? Why is she at our job? Why is she inside of our job? Why did she ask the managers if we were still there? There was a lot of questions going through our head at that time. I decided to stall. I came up with a quick lie. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna show you guys a text anyways. But I was like, oh yeah, my friend just locked her keys in her car and we had to go help her real quick and we'll be right back. We really wanted to see if this girl was inside of our job. I have a new car at this time, so she doesn't know what kind of car I drive. So we drive by and she's inside of the store. So finally we just decide, okay, the girl's here. She really wanted to meet up. Let's see what she wants. So I text her that we're here. And she comes out and she's looking for us because, you know, I have a new car at the time. It's not the same car that she saw me driving the last time. So I come out and I wave and I'm like, hey, over here, whatever. And she comes over, right? So she's like, hey, how you guys been? Blah, 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 making small talk, you know, all that good stuff, right? This is the point where I knew that she wanted something, right? She was like, oh, It's like my last night in town. I leave tomorrow afternoon, and I was supposed to see this guy that I'm talking to, but we haven't been able to see each other. Our schedules are off and everything just hasn't been working out. Aha. So I was your ride to go see your mans. Okay. Got you. You know, like when somebody wants something, but they're not gonna directly ask you for it. That's what she was doing. She kept bringing it up in conversation, and eventually I was like, okay, where does he stay at? Oh, he lives like 45-50 minutes away. Girl, that is the next city over. I was like, give me a second to discuss this with my mans, and we'll let you know in a couple minutes. So me and my boyfriend discuss it, and we're like, you know, it is kind of late, but we would want somebody to do the same for us if we were in that situation. So we ended up taking her 45 minutes to the next city over, right? We get to the guy's house, he gets in the car, and we're like, so what's the plan? I thought we were driving over here so that you can stay with him, or like, what's going on? We don't understand, right? And she was like, oh, I can't stay with him because of his aunt. She's really strict and she doesn't want us staying together. We're like, okay, well, we're not taking him all the way back to our city because that doesn't make any sense. And then have to drive back, like, no. She was staying with her aunt at the time of her visit, and her aunt wasn't having that either. So I was like, okay, what about a hotel? You guys want to get a hotel or something? And she was like, okay, I'm going to look up hotels as we drive. And I was like, you better find one because I'm not driving back down here. So she finds a hotel in our city, and we're like, all right, we're going to take you guys there. No problem. We wanted them to have their time together. After we get back into our city, we have to go to her house so that she can pick up all of her clothes, because right after the hotel night, she was gonna hop back on a plane to New Jersey. So we're waiting for her to gather up all her clothes. He's in there helping her or whatever. And me and my boyfriend were like, what did we get ourselves into? At this point, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. We got off at like 11 and it's now 1 o'clock. So she gathers up all her clothes and then we take them to the hotel. We get to the hotel and they say, okay, we're gonna check in and then we'll come back out and grab our stuff and say goodbye, right? Instead of them coming out to say goodbye, they come out and say they don't have enough money for the hotel. Apparently, the price online was different when they got there. So me and my boyfriend decided that we were just gonna give them our tip money. It wasn't all of our tip money, but it was a good chunk of our tip money for the night. So we were like, here, you guys enjoy your night. Just take our tip money and book the hotel room, right? So they're like, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. We appreciate you so much. Nobody's ever done something so nice, blah, 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 right? So I'm thinking like, okay, they're gonna go in the hotel room now. They get back in the car. I guess because we did something nice for them, they felt like they had to have a conversation with us, which is not the case at all. Like, if I do something nice for you, it's from the bottom of my heart. I don't expect nothing back. Just take it and go on your merry way, right? But no, they sit in the car, they make conversation. It was a good conversation. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like it was just an annoying conversation. It was a really good conversation, but at the same time, like, I was ready to go. So eventually, me and my boyfriend leave and we go home or whatever, right? So now it's the next day. At some point, like in the afternoon, I had a call from Slim, right? And she's back home. Actually, she was in New York instead of New Jersey because her sister lives in New York and she was living with her at the time. So she was like, hey, I made it home safe. I just wanted to let you know. I was like, okay, I'm glad to hear that. Oh, how was your night? I just want to make like conversation with the girl. So she goes on a whole rant and she was like, oh, we got to the hotel and we were arguing basically all night. And then he didn't want to do, you know, what people do in hotels. If you get what I'm saying, if you catch my drift. And she wanted to, but he didn't. And they were arguing and it just wasn't an enjoyable night, I guess. So I told her that I was sorry to hear that. And maybe he didn't want to do anything with you when the opportunity, like, cause you know guys, like when the opportunity presents itself, they're gonna take it, right? I was like, maybe he has a girlfriend. You guys are long distance. You don't know what's going on over in Florida, and he doesn't know what's going on over in New York. Maybe you're being faithful, but he's not. So there's a possibility that that's why he didn't want to do anything, right? And she's like, you know what? You are right. I did think of that because we're in two different states. Like, she basically said what I said. I don't know. I just try to make her feel better because I feel like poop if somebody did that to me. So I just try to make the girl feel better. So after that instance, me and her start talking more. But we found out that we have so much in common. We were just texting all the time, and then it was calling all the time. It was like, oh, hey girl, like stay on the phone for like 2 hours and stuff like that. Like, we were getting really, really close after that conversation. I don't know if that's what sparked it or if we both just needed a friend at the time and it just worked out that way. So time goes on, right? And one day I'm on the phone with her and she says that she broke up with her Florida guy. And I was like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What happened? She was like, it just wasn't working out. There's like a wall when you talk to him and we're not on the same page. He's kind of immature. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you made that executive decision for yourself, right? So then she continues to tell me that she met somebody else too. That's also another reason why she broke up with him, because she met somebody else. I was like, tell me everything about him. I want to know. Like, that's my friend. I want to know who my friend is messing around with, right? So she was like, oh, he works for this company. I work there too now. Because there was a period where she didn't have a job. And so she was like, I work there too now. And he's just everything that I asked for in a man. And then I was like, oh, that's good. I'm glad you found somebody that's in your same state and you guys are on the same page, right? She then tells me something that I wasn't expecting to hear, but so she then tells me that the guy's married and he has kids. Huh? He's married, got kids, and you're messing around with him? She's like, I know, but he's just my soulmate. Like, this is where the crazy factor kicked in again. There was so many red flags of her being crazy, and I just like never paid attention to it. Or I did, but I brushed it off because that was my friend at the time. She was like, oh, I believe that he's my soulmate because we're connecting on such a deeper level, and I've never met anybody else like him. Okay, but why did he have to be married? She was like, I don't even feel bad that he's married. If I want something, I'm gonna get it. You're gonna get it if you want something. She said that they spent literally hours on the phone late at night. And then that's when I'm like, hold on. Is this man talking to you while his wife is in the house? Is he getting out of bed and having a conversation with you while his wife is in the bed? Because it couldn't be me. If I even suspect that my husband was cheating, I don't have a husband yet, but if I did, if I even suspected just the slightest bit, just this much that he was cheating, I'm throwing hot grits on him, period. I don't care about the burns. I don't care if they lock me up. I will get in that squad car happily. I mean, it's one thing if you didn't know, but you knew and you didn't care. And then on top of that, he's a little creeper. His wife should leave him and take him for everything that he has. But that's not even the gag. What really got me was the fact that sis said, I deserve way more attention than what he gives me right now. I am not getting all of him and I just want to have all of him. Are you okay? Should I call psych ward? I got them on speed dial, you know. Only thing is though, what I will say that I did wrong, I never even like told her that she was wrong. I just kind of brushed off the conversation because I was like, they ain't got nothing to do with me. They in a whole nother state. I ain't got to deal with it. So that doesn't have anything to do with me. But I was wrong because I should have been like, girl, no, that's not how you do it. But that's how you know the friendship wasn't gonna last anyways. Like, if I'm not telling you right or wrong, like, the friendship not gonna last, period. I kind of feel bad about it now, but at the same time, we're not friends anymore, so it doesn't matter. But I should have said something. If I was doing that, I would want somebody to, which I would never do that. But if I was crazy enough to do that, I would want somebody to be like, hey Shireen, don't do that. Stop. You're a homewrecker. So at this point, I'm wondering if they did the do or what. As I'm listening to her talk, she was like, one night after we got off of work, it went down, and I was like, oh Lord. Doing all kinds of wrong. For what? You wanted somebody that bad that you had to settle for somebody who's married? That's what I should have said. Like, I still kind of beat myself up a little bit for not saying anything. But like, I don't know, like it's like a weird situation. We weren't friends for that long. So like, I kind of felt a little weird saying anything at all, but I still should have. But I take responsibility for that. I should have said something. And that's where we're ending part 2. I said part 2 was gonna be juicy, right? It was juicy. You found out some information that you didn't expect to find out. Part 3 is hella juicy. It involves my boyfriend, her and me. So just wait for it. Just wait for it. Things get super hot in the kitchen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Do not make me have to beg for you to come back for part 3. Don't make me have to do it. I did it for part 2. I'm not doing it for part 3. You better just come back. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.